This is Top 30. 30 stories in 30 minutes.
Enrollment for the Affordable Care Act begins this week, but many Americans don't even know the program still exists. One survey says more than 40% of uninsured adults are unaware or unsure that they still are required to have insurance. In October, the federal government stopped making payments that reimburse insurers for reducing healthcare costs for low-income families. As a result, some Obamacare plans for 2018 will be more expensive. The Health and Human Services Department said this week that the average price of a benchmark plan would go up 37%. Many Obamacare customers, including low-income families, may qualify for federal tax credits that let them buy plans at a discount. Those families could actually pay less than they did in 2017. If you're signing up on healthcare.gov, you'll have from November 1st to December 15th. That's 6 weeks less than last year. Americans who don't have health insurance could still get hit with penalties during tax season. More information is available on healthcare.gov.
Two American women who say they were lost at sea for 5 months had an emergency beacon on their ship but did not use it. That is one of the inconsistencies emerging about Jennifer Appel and Tasha Fiava's time at sea after the US Navy rescued them and their 2 dogs last week. The women told the Coast Guard they didn't activate the beacon because they never feared for their lives, but also told reporters they feared they had less than 24 hours to live. Questions are also surfacing about weather in the region. The sailors said a major storm hit the day they left Hawaii, but meteorologists say there was no severe weather anywhere near their route during that time. The Associated Press reports the women said they couldn't turn back because there were no harbors in the area that could accommodate the sailboat, but in fact, several harbors were available in Maui and Lanai. And the women had a potential opportunity to dock on Christmas Island and another island in Kiribati, but said they couldn't, instead choosing to go 1,000 miles away to Cook Islands. They were finally picked up about 900 miles southeast of Japan. Several news organizations have tried to contact the women, but they have made no public comments since this confusing new information was released.
These are your quick hits. Netflix has halted production on House of Cards indefinitely, saying they are deeply troubled by the allegations of sexual harassment from the show's star, Kevin Spacey. And the International Academy revealed they are revoking an Emmy Honor Award Spacey was set to receive later this year. LeBron James has filed to trademark the phrase, "Nothing is given, everything is earned." The Cleveland Cavaliers star's filing is connected to his foundation's I Promise schools, and they're seeking to use the phrase on t-shirts, caps, and sweatshirts. And one mom from Ohio made one heck of a Halloween costume for her daughter this year. The 1-year-old transformed into the character Poppy from 2016's animated hit Trolls. How cute is she?
Let's go to the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with your friend and mine, Nicole Pedlides. Nicole, I'm hearing big things about an established company getting into the marijuana industry.
That's right, Richard. Well, alcohol giant Constellation Brands is getting into the cannabis business. The company, which owns Corona Beer and Svedka Vodka, will pay over $190 million for a 10% stake in the Canadian company Canopy Growth Corp. Now, the two companies will be selling cannabis-based drinks. Some news from McDonald's that animal lovers might love. Not only did the company recently announce that it will only sell chickens that are humanely raised, but it has also launched the McVegan, which is a meatless burger made of soy that comes with the very same toppings as the Big Mac. It's happened to the best of us. We write a text and hit send to the wrong recipient. Well, now WhatsApp has a solution for that. The popular app has unveiled an unsend feature that lets users delete messages sent to a group or an individual.
Nicole, tell me, how does this work?
Well, Richard, everyone has to be using the latest version of WhatsApp to make sure that the messages are deleted, but you won't get a notification to know if the message was actually deleted. More Top 30 when we return.
Scientists are trying to figure out if a mysterious item in outer space is the first object ever from another solar system. NASA researchers are unsure if it's a comet, asteroid, or something else, and have never seen anything that has an orbit that's this extreme. Scientists say there are theories that objects move between stars and occasionally pass through our solar system, but they want more data to confirm that that is what is happening here. The object is about a quarter mile in diameter, traveling at 15.8 miles per second, and is currently called A/2017U1. It will eventually be renamed, but since it's unique, the group that names these discoveries will have to come up with a new system to name something from another solar system.
One company is trying to change how you pay for movies. Next year, Regal Cinemas will begin testing what they call demand-based pricing for movies showing in its theaters. It means that hit movies could cost more, but less popular titles would go for less. Some Hollywood insiders object to a system that would charge more for hit movies, but others point out that dynamic pricing has already worked for airlines, hotels, and the live entertainment industry. Regal is the second largest theater chain in the U.S. While movie sales this year are down by over 4% overall, Regal's profits are down 12%. They've blamed this year's movie releases for the downturn. Regal is working with an app called Atom Tickets for its pricing test. They say it'll be in just enough markets to be statistically significant, but won't say where they are. The chairman of Atom says that if the pricing encourages people to go to movies just once more a year, it'll transform the whole industry.
Another member of President Donald Trump's campaign has been indicted. Unlike former campaign manager Paul Manafort, little has been known about him until now. George Papadopoulos has pleaded guilty to making false statements to FBI agents investigating Russian interference in last year's election. The president is trying to downplay the indictment, tweeting that Papadopoulos is a low-level volunteer and proven to be a liar. Papadopoulos is just 30. His LinkedIn page lists him as an oil, gas and policy consultant. He briefly worked on the presidential run of Ben Carson before he joined Donald Trump's campaign in March 2016 as a foreign policy advisor. It was shortly after that that he met a professor who reportedly has ties to the Russian government. That professor promised thousands of emails containing dirt about Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton. According to the criminal complaint against him, Papadopoulos repeatedly tried to set meetings between the Kremlin and the Trump campaign. We learned this week that Papadopoulos was taken into custody in July. Since that time, he has met with federal investigators working for special counsel Robert Mueller to provide information and answer questions.
The Christian Dior brand is celebrating 70 years as a fashion powerhouse with their first public museum exhibit in 30 years. The stunning new exhibit, Christian Dior, Designer of Dreams, is featured at the Museum of Decorative Arts in Paris, France. Since 1987, the high art fashion house has restricted access to their mostly private collection. However, fans of the brand can now experience over 300 gowns to highlight the design and vision of the Christian Dior brand. The dresses include items designed by Christian Dior himself, as well as the designers who've helmed the brand, including Yves Saint Laurent, Marc Bohan, Gianfranco Ferré, John Galliano, Raf Simons, and today's Maria Grazia Curie. Since its opening, the exhibit has boasted ridiculously long lines from fans of the brand, and from what I can tell, it appears to be totally worth it.
Homes for sale in the United States are on the market for just 3 weeks before being sold. That is the shortest average in the past 30 years. That's one of the findings from a new report issued by the National Association of Realtors. This chart illustrates the decline from 6 years ago, when the average time on the market was 11 weeks as the nation recovered from the mortgage crisis. Not only were people buying fast, they were also paying more. 42% paid at least the asking price, the highest percentage since the Realtors Organization started keeping track in 2007. And the report said single female buyers made up 18% of households buying homes. That is the highest percentage since 2011. Married couples made up 65%, while unmarried couples and single males were 8% and 7% respectively. That is the sign of a healthy housing market, but one that only makes it even harder for first-time buyers. A new concept car made waves at the Tokyo Motor Show for its impact-absorbing exterior body panels, making it the world's first dent-proof car. Japanese manufacturing firm Toyota Gosei created the Flex B2 using next-generation rubber and is currently still in the prototype stage. The managing officer at Toyota said, "We put airbags, which are mainly employed inside the car, on its exterior, such as its hood or fender, to protect the entire body." According to the company, the rubber is able to move with electric power and change the shape of the car's body. They're going to get the car on the market by 2030, so all you need to do is make sure you don't have a crash for the next 13 years.
Emily Nash was allowed to compete in the boys' golf tournament. She just wasn't allowed to win. The high school junior led her team to victory, and individually she won the tournament by 4 strokes, but was denied the trophy because she's a girl. According to the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association, girls can play in the boys' golf tournament as part of a team, but they aren't allowed to be entered as individuals, a rule that had been lost on Emily. "I wasn't aware that if I won, I wouldn't get the title or the trophy," she told a local news station. "I feel like it's a bit unfair." Emily played from the same tees as the boys, and her competitors agreed she deserved the win. The one who got the trophy offered it to her, saying she earned it, but she politely declined. It's 2017, not 1917, right? Just double checking. In today's Hometown Stories from Fox 2 San Francisco, 9-year-old Lily Biagini and her mom safely fled the North Bay fires. Unfortunately, their house and everything in it burned down, including Lily's prosthetic legs. Lily has arthrogryposis, a congenital condition where her joints won't bend from the waist down. When the Hanger Clinic in San Francisco heard Lily's story, they wanted to help, and so they gifted her with a new set for free. Lily can now return to horse riding and running track. Nothing can slow this girl down. Our next story from Fox 26 Houston. A local teacher is using the Astros to get her students excited to learn. Stephanie Elizondo has an inventive approach to traditional subjects like Major League Math and the reading dugout. For example, when teaching the importance of jobs and how they contribute to the community, the students made baseball cards listing their future job titles. Though they're Astros fans, no matter who wins the World Series, these kids are learning lessons that'll last a lifetime. Our final story from Fox 5 New York. The people of Puerto Rico have shown strength in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria, making strides to rebuild their communities. But a New York rescue is doing their part to help those who can't help themselves, the animals. For the 3rd time this year, Animal Haven has taken in dogs abandoned by the hurricane. About 40 of these dogs are now safely being cared for at the Manhattan facility. Coming in all sizes and ages, these guys are ready to be adopted to their forever homes.
One of the best high school football programs in the country is a team you have probably never heard of, the IMG Academy Ascenders. IMG Academy, located in Bradenton, Florida, is a controversial for-profit private boarding school. It is owned by a Hollywood entertainment conglomerate. IMG is a leading sports and modeling agency boasting Maria Sharapova and Gigi Hadid as clients. In 2014, IMG was acquired by William Morris Endeavor, a leading talent agency in Hollywood. IMG uses the school as a training ground for potential future clients. They hope students will generate income for the company down the road as professional athletes. IMG Academy is the most expensive boarding school in the nation at a staggering cost of $72,500 a year in tuition. That price tag is bigger than Harvard's. But the school does churn out the highest number of college recruits. As many as 30 members of the current football team are expected to receive Division I scholarships, blowing other high schools out of the water. Nevertheless, it does appear that the IMG Academy may be blurring the lines between academia and the commercialization of youth sports. eBay is offering 2 new features that let you search the online marketplace with pictures instead of words. One of them is called image search. Users can take a picture of an item on their phone or use a saved image, and eBay will find things that are similar. This may be useful when trying to find a specific item that is hard to describe in a short phrase. The other new tool is called Find It on eBay. This comes in handy if you see something on any social platform or online. Just share the image with eBay and it will search its 1.1 billion item database and return similar items. eBay is using 2 parts of artificial intelligence to power the searches, called computer vision and deep learnings. Other sites have visual search capabilities, but eBay says it has an advantage because of the size of its catalog.
6-year-old Roman McCann has a passion for helping unite shelter dogs with their forever homes. Currently, Roman's on a mission to find a home for his 4-legged friend named Legend because the dog's deaf. Legend is a 5-and-a-half-year-old Labrador Retriever currently at the Skagit Valley Humane Society in Burlington, Washington. Roman made a heartwarming video that went viral, asking for people who have experience with disabled animals to come forward and adopt Legend.
Name's Legend. He needs a home that's good, that's experienced with a dog that's deaf.
Well, with a plea like that, I'm sure Legend will have his pick of the litter. According to Health.com, nearly 90% of women have cellulite. Studies have shown cellulite appearance can lead to an insecure body image. But intense manipulation with the help of various scientific advances can make lumpy fat known as cellulite appear smoother, which is why we're bringing you today's top 30 deal. Palm NRG Cellulite Reducer and Massager at a special 93% discount. The Cellulite Reducer Massager is a revolutionary way to minimize the appearance of cellulite. Use it to target hard-to-reach places on your body, like your lower back, stomach, hips, arms, and thighs. Palm NRG Cellulite Reducer and Massager retails for as much as $1,299. But today you can buy it for just $90. That's about a 93% discount. And you can get this right now at top30deals.com while they last.
The stock market has hit yet another record high, but will it lead to a record crash? $146 billion was added to the market in one day last week. The gains were largely from just 4 companies familiar with anyone with a Wi-Fi connection: Amazon, Google parent company Alphabet, Microsoft, and Intel. Amazon's stock alone increased by 13%. It's enough to make founder Jeff Bezos officially the richest man in the world at $93 billion. One Wall Street insider called it the craziest behavior I have seen since the early 2000s. Now, that is the year the so-called dot-com bubble peaked, followed shortly after by a stock market crash. While some have warned that tech stocks can fall again, experts say that these companies will keep growing for one reason. The earlier bubble was based on the idea that the internet would change the world, but it hadn't happened yet. Today, tech companies have actually delivered, changing the way that we live. They also said the same stocks might be down slightly this week because buying them just got a lot more expensive.
Halloween just got more exciting for 21 kids in wheelchairs. Staff and volunteers at Shriners Hospitals for Children in Salt Lake City transformed their wheelchairs into elaborate costumes like a NASA space shuttle, the Batmobile, and a popcorn machine. The director of the hospital's seating and mobility program said, "It's one of the most rewarding things we've done all year. Every kid wants to go trick-or-treating just like their friends, but with a wheelchair to deal with, having a fun Halloween isn't always easy." Larry Christensen, whose 12-year-old son is now confined to a wheelchair, told People magazine, "I've never seen so many smiles as I did at Shriners when they were fixing up those wheelchairs." The costumes were made possible because of donations from the public and Spirit of Halloween, Spirit of Children charity. Who says Thanksgiving and Christmas are the only times for giving back? This year, many Americans are expecting to get their student debt forgiven by the federal government, but it's not happening. The Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program was started by the Department of Education. It's supposed to forgive some student loans of public servants like nurses, social workers, soldiers, and teachers. To qualify, they have to work in public service for 10 years and make 120 monthly payments on time. Since the program started 10 years ago, this is the first month borrowers are expecting to see their debt zeroed out. The New York Times reports that some are in for a rude awakening. One Oregon teacher made 10 years of payments only to be informed 2 years ago that the payment plan he was in was ineligible. He would have to start over. A spokesperson at the Consumer Protection Financial Bureau says there is going to be an enormous crush of borrowers who think they are eligible only to find that they are not. We need to get ready for it. The Education Department has been sued over the program because some borrowers say they were misled about the program's requirements. There are currently over 500,000 borrowers signed up for the forgiveness program.
Walmart is using state-of-the-art robots to keep the shelves stocked and identify mislabeled items. The world's largest retailer announced it's expanding tests of these shelf-scanning robots to 50 stores. The robots roll down the aisle and have towers that are fitted with a camera to scan the shelves. They can check to make sure the items are not out of stock, identify misplaced products, and also detect incorrect prices. The robot then passes that information to employees who can restock shelves and correct any errors. Walmart says the idea is not to replace workers and is just their latest attempt to automate tasks that are, quote, repeatable, predictable, and manual. You know, like shopping itself.
That's it for today's Top 30. Don't forget, you can get the Palm NRG Cellulite Reducer and Massager for 93% off at top30deals.com. And on our next show, opioid abuse has been declared a public health emergency. One state has created a 12-point plan to fight back, and they want drug companies to foot the bill. You can now buy a ticket for one of the longest flights ever. We'll tell you about the new record. And these two men are the same person. How one photographer is traveling through time. It's all coming up on the next Top 30.